Hi everyone, it's Bethany. In this video, I'm working on creating a little Starbucks word collage cold cup. And if you saw my other Starbucks tutorial, I did two different wrap cup techniques and I'll link it in the top right corner. But in this tutorial, I'm going to do a third technique and we're going to place words all over the cup. I've seen this done on Pinterest and I've seen some on Etsy, and I've just been really inspired to see if I can create one for myself. So I'm just going to show you what my process looks like, and I hope this inspires you as well. So I just have a venti cold cup Starbucks cup. I also have some Oracle 651 permanent vinyl, my weeding tool, and we're going to hop into Design Space and I'm going to show you just how I got everything aligned just right, and I'll walk you through my process. Let's get started.
Okay, so here's the design that I decided on for wrapping my Starbucks cup. So you can choose any theme or any words, anything that inspires you, and this is the direction that I decided to take mine. I just really love how it turned out. So what I'm going to do is show you how I got to this point here. So I actually used a template, so I'm going to go over to upload. It's a template that I purchased, and I'm going to go to view all because it wasn't a recent purchase, and I'll scroll down until I find it. So it's this template right here. So I'm going to select it and say insert image, and if you need help learning how to upload images to Design Space, I'll place a link to a tutorial in the upper right hand corner that I have filmed just about that. So what I'm going to do now with this template is I have purchased this template for a venti Starbucks cup. So one of the most important things to remember is the template is already sized. So once you bring the template into Design Space, you do not want to do any sizing at all. So everything's all ready to go. What you want to do is come up to ungroup, and then you just want to delete the elements that you're not going to be using for your current design. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this because I'm going to need this later. And because I just want to make the colors a little bit easier on my eye, I'm just going to edit those colors. And what I really like about this template is that it has the grid lines. You can turn those on and off if you'd like, but I find that they are especially helpful when designing. So now what I did is I went through and I picked words that I wanted, and I just used a variety of fonts that I thought looked good. I wanted to make a mix and match, so I did a little bit of mixing with some script fonts and some block fonts, and I think it turned out really good. And then I also added some images that I just found in Cricut Design Space. So the images are really helpful if you just need to fill in small little gaps. So be sure to remember that that is a nice little trick to do. Plus it adds a little visual interest to your cup. So let's start by just adding a couple words and I'll show you my process. So I'm going to go over to the text box. The first text that I'm using is Farmland Fresh. And oops, I was going to type in farmland, but I'm going to type in faith. Now, I believe I got this font off of Font Bundles, and I will do my best to try and link each and every font that I used in the description box below, but at the moment I can't remember each and every one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it onto my cup, and I found it really helpful to use these lines to help curve my words. So of course you can make your words smaller, bigger. I had it just about here, and then I'm going to come up to the curve feature, and I'm just going to use the curvature of that grid line right there to just kind of give me an idea of how much or how little I want to curve my word. And it's really just slight in some cases. And then I'm just going to rotate it until I like how that looks. So there is my first word. Okay, and then for another word, just to show you a little bit more, I don't think I use this font, but it's another good font to use. I'll type out wisdom using the font Four Seasons Home Decor. It's a really nice font that's nice and skinny. Again, I don't think I used this in my original design, but it's similar enough. So I'll go ahead and just kind of curve this. Again, following that curve of the template line, I'll come up to my curve button and I will just drag that to the right to just curve that down a little bit. So I just kind of went through and played with the sizing and played with the alignment and just got everything exactly where I wanted it. So now another thing again that you can do is go into images. I just searched for heart in this case, and you can find any and every image that you would like, something that fits maybe the theme of your cup. But I just went through, found a heart that I liked, and then I put it on my cup as another nice little way to fill in some gaps. So I used a couple images. Of course, I used the heart and the cross, and then I kind of played around with the sizing of each one. Okay, so I'm not going to go through how to do each and every one because that would just take forever, and this template took me a long time. So give yourself a lot of time, sit down in front of your favorite show because that makes it go a lot quicker. But that is exactly how I did that. Now, one thing that I did afterwards is I hid my entire template. So I went through, let's imagine this thing is all full of words. So I went through and I hid my template. Let's see here, and then I made sure to weld everything all together. So this image, as you can see over here, is a weld result. So this is all of the little fonts and all of the little graphics all welded together to create one layer. Okay, so real quick, the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and delete these because you know now how to add all of your little words. I'm gonna bring this to the front. I'm gonna bring my design right back over, and you can see exactly how I use those lines to start curving my letters. So one thing I like to do is I like to keep this little circle, and I like to align my circle right in the middle where that opening is, okay? So once you have the circle in the opening there, what you're going to do is you are going to hide the outline so that you have all of your words plus the circle. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that circle with our words and we are going to weld them all together. Now we're welding them all together because this is going to act as our little reference when we place it onto the cup, okay? So you're not gonna actually keep that circle. It's something you're gonna peel off at the end, but you'll see me do that later. But for now, you want to keep that on there because it just really helps you line everything up when it comes to cup placement. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Okay, and real quick, I'm just going to change this back to pink because it's a little bit easier on my eye to see on the next screen. I'm going to pick the machine I want, which is my Cricut Explore Air 2, and I'm going to select Make It, and then you'll see my design placed right on my mat there. And then we're going to go ahead and say Continue. Okay, and then I'm going to use the premium vinyl setting and get my design all cut out.
Okay, so now I am just going to place my mat into my machine and load it, and then when the Cricut button flashes, I will press the Cricut button to start cutting. Okay, so while that's cutting, I'm just going to take a little bit of rubbing alcohol and I'm going to wipe down my cup with this little cotton swab. That just helps to remove any oils or dust or grime, and that helps get the whole surface all ready for the vinyl to lay down on. Okay, so everything has cut out. I have trimmed off all of the extra vinyl that I wish to keep. And now I am going to go ahead and weed my design. Now, I am usually not a fan of weeding on the mat, just for many different reasons. I don't prefer to do it, but for this, I'm going to because I feel like it just has a lot of elements, so I just really need it to stay put. So I'm going to keep my design on the mat, and then I'm just going to slowly go through and begin weeding out my design. Just taking my time and getting all of my little letters perfectly off. Okay, so now that I have the design all weeded out, I will now grab some transfer tape. So I'm going to use some clear transfer tape because I think it will be better for a project like this where you need to see through your design, because again, we're going to line up that little circle. And then I'm going to lay this down. Now, I have to admit, I'm not sure if it took me longer to design or weed this. This took a very, very long time to weed. So just allocate some time. Again, put on your favorite music or binge watch a TV show, but it's going to look so cute that I know it's going to be worth it. So I'm just getting all of my transfer tape over the design. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mat upside down, place a firm palm on my vinyl design, and then peel my mat away. Okay, there we go. Still looks good. And then I'm going to re-scrape down my design on the front and back just to really make sure everything is in its place and that it's easy to pull up my transfer tape. Okay, flip it and go this way. Okay, so now with my design still face down, I'm just going to slowly remove my carrier sheet that it was cut on and leave my design right on the transfer tape, just like this. Okay, so now we are ready to apply it to the cup. Okay, so I'm just going to set this to the side, and I'm going to bring my cup in, and I just like to steady my cup with a couple little wedges. So just grab anything that's on my desk. Another thing I'd like to do is use a towel and just put a towel underneath. So we have that all set. Okay, now we'll take the design. Again, this has been washed with rubbing alcohol, or rubbed down with rubbing alcohol. And now our goal here is to line up this little circle with the little logo on the cup. So you might even need to stand on over it and just line it up the best that you can. I'm also going to take the lid off. I found that that can be really helpful. Okay, so again, we're going to line up that little circle with the logo, just like that. Okay, and then we are just going to start laying down our design. So I like to just go in small sections. So I'm just going to go just like this right in the middle, and then just start gently laying it down outwards, just like that. And now I don't need my wedges any longer. I can just pull up my design, and I'm going to go to one side. So this side is just going to kind of dangle as I work towards one side. So I'm just going to go slow, and I go first with my fingers and just get it all pressed down. That's looking really cute. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I can turn it the other way and then just start laying it down. Just like this. Oh, so cute. That lines up so cute on the back too. Okay, so now that it has laid down the first time, I'm going to go through with my scraper and just really reinforce that. It's kind of easy if you put your hand in the cup and then just scrape away. And on this back side, what I'm going to do is before I really varnish it down with my scraper, I'm just going to trim away those extra pieces. That way my design lays down on the actual cup and not on the extra transfer tape. So just trim that off, just like so. Perfect. And then you can lay it down without it having your letters lay down on transfer tape instead of the cup. Okay, we are set to go. Okay, and then once you're ready, you're just going to slowly peel away your transfer tape, leaving your vinyl on your cup. And you're just going to want to go slow and make sure you monitor all your designs and all of your little letters to make sure that they are sticking to the cup. If you need to lay the transfer tape back down and do a little bit more pressing with your scraper, then go ahead and do so, just to make sure that everything is laying down like it should. Okay, so I'm just still peeling off my transfer tape and taking my time. I will say that I recommend going with chunkier fonts because some of my thinner fonts were a little bit trickier to weed as well as to apply to the cup. So the chunkier or the more bold, the better. Okay, so I have removed all of the transfer tape, and now what I want to do is I want to just gently remove this little middle piece just like that, and peel it right off, and then it reveals my logo. So it's a nice way to get that lined up, but also comes off really, really easily when you don't want it there. So, okay, that is it. Here is the final look. Naturally, that was very much a labor of love, but I love how it turned out. I think it turned out really, really sweet, and it lined up really, really nice on the back as well. So again, choosing some chunkier or more bold fonts is definitely going to be the key here. And then just have fun with it. Choose any words that you really like and go with a theme that you like, but it all turned out really, really nice. And for care instructions, this is going to be something that you're going to want to hand wash only. So I hope you were inspired by this. Please be sure to give this a thumbs up and let me know if you give this a try, and I'll see you in the next video.